Hi students, welcome back to the JEE Main paper analysis of 26th February Shift 1. So students, the good news is this shift paper is very easy in comparison with all other shifts that you have written. Students, let us see this easy paper. We will go through this journey and what kind of questions have come and what are the solutions to those questions. We will see the journey here. So now this question is work done by a force. Students, by seeing this question, have you remembered something? If you are a student who has written the JEE Mains exam, this is the same question, similar question has been repeated in the previous shifts as well. So what is the concept here? So work done is equal to alpha square beta e power minus beta x square some blah blah blah, that's something. And now what are the dimensions of alpha is? These kind of questions we have discussed, or you might have known. You need to understand trigonometrical ratio, the fundamental point that trigonometrical ratios and exponential functions will not have any dimensions. If you know that point, fundamental point, you need to understand here, so the exponential part will not be having any dimensions. So that implies beta x square by kt will be dimensionless, that is m power 0, l power 0, t power 0. So that means we can say it as k, you know this formula, internal energy is equal to 3 by 2 kt. So that means k will have a dimension of, Boltzmann constant will have a dimension of energy by time. So if I substitute it energy by time, time gets cancelled. So then beta will have a dimension of E by x square, that is x square can be written as length square. So then alpha square beta should have, by using the principle of homogeneity, the equation separated by equal to plus minus should have same dimensions. So if equal to is there, if the left part of the equation equal to is having work dimension, that is work will also have energy dimensions, right part of the equation should also have the same dimensions. You know this is dimensionless part, so this should have dimensions of work or energy. So if I equate alpha square beta should be having work dimension, that is energy dimensions, but we know beta dimensions are energy by L square. So energy by L square into alpha square is equal to energy. So if you try to simplify this, E gets cancelled, alpha square is equal to L square, alpha is equal to having the dimension of L. This is as simple as that. You don't need to hurry or get confused for this question. So what are the principles that we use here? Principle of homogeneity and another fundamental point that exponential functions do not have any dimensions. So let us go ahead students. Now the next question, alpha is having a dimension of L. So this is another quality question students. This similar questions have been asked in gravitation, So what are those questions? I'll tell you. First let us read this question students. A tunnel is dug along the chord at a distance r by 2 from center of earth as shown chord. A particle released in tunnel, find its time period students. There is another quality questions which has come in previous year advanced and mains examination as well. So the thing is, so there will be a tunnel that is dug. This is one good quality question. So what is the solution? Similarly a ball is released here. So now what will happen? What is the motion of this ball? The motion of this ball is nothing but simple harmonic motion, and its time period is nothing but 2 pi root over r by g. So interestingly students, this will also have the same answer, but how? This question is a part of our discussion. In our one shot revisions we are going to take these questions. This is a one standard good example, good damn example. So similarly, but here we will solve the question that is given in the exam, which is a bit more complicated than the general question. So what we have to do here? So now we need to find out In simple harmonic motion, if you would have studied how to write the time period, the basic concept, if you go by the force method, how you need to do is you need to write the unbalanced force and equate in such a way that you will get something into minus of something into x. X is the displacement that you do from the mean position, from the equilibrium and mean position. So now that unbalanced force is equal to something into x, this something we will name it as k, then we will write it as A is equal to minus k by m into x. So this constant, the k dash I am writing here, this can be equated to omega square is equal to k by m, acceleration is equal to minus omega square x, and omega is equal to root k by m. So then time period is equal to 2 pi by omega. This is the general procedure that you need to follow to find out any kind of problem that has appeared on time period. Okay, then students, how to solve this question here? So first I will displace it from mean position. Here the diagram itself it is given. I will displace from mean position with the distance x. Now I will try to find out the force. What is the force? Now at the distance of r from the center, what will be the force, students? The force will be k q, sorry, this is in electrostatics. Now here it will be g m g into capital M into if the particle is, find the time period. So okay, g m by r cube into small r is the force on the particle, students, because at a distance of r from the center, what is the force, students? G m by r cube into r. So if you would have written the equation, that equation also will vary like this as a straight line if you are going from the center of the earth. But now the force will be towards the center, but this will have two components in this diagram. What are the two components? One component in this direction, one component in this direction, which is opposite to the displacement that you do, because if this is the direction of x, the force will be opposite to the direction of the displacement. But this direction force will be balanced by the normal reaction in the tunnel itself, the cord. So now what you need to find out, this force component along the direction of the cord, that is will be, if you resolve this force, this will be balanced by normal reaction in that cord, f, this is theta, this is f sin theta, and this will be f cos theta. So f cos theta, if you write here g m by r cube into r into cos theta from the diagram can be written as adjacent side, that is x by small r gets cancelled. The answer is, you students, here f is equal to minus. Why I am writing minus here, students? Because it is opposite to this direction of x, that is the displacement in the downward direction. So minus g m by r cube, you were able to find out f is equal to some minus k into x, this is that k, then what is the answer? Acceleration is equal to, this will be the force, because there will be another mass of the ball here. So if you calculate it with ma is equal to g m by r cube into x. I wrote intensity, students. If you want to find out force, you have to multiply it with the mass of the ball. So this gets cancelled. Acceleration is equal to minus omega square into x. Omega square is equal to gm by r cube. Then time period is equal to 2 pi by omega. Omega is root gm by r cube. Then we can write it as r cube by this r cube by gm. But we know gm by r square is, what is gm by r square? G is equal to gm by r square. We can write this as 2 pi root over r by g. Interestingly, this is a good, one of the most valuable problem and concept. Similar answer will come to the same question that I taught you. If you are able to apply the same concept and apply the same procedure, you will arrive at the conclusion. So students, so let us go to the next question. You mark it. One of the exam you might find it, this quality question. So the answer is 2 pi root over r by g, and if you ask me what is the value in minutes, that will be, if you substitute the value of radius of earth and acceleration due to gravity, you will get 84.6 minutes. That might be appearing in some other exam if you would have seen, and it will be approximately 1.4 hour. So because it's such a standard question, that's why I am giving you the values as well. So let us go. Then this is also one of the standard questions if you would have prepared. For identical, let me tell you frankly students, this is one of the paper in which the models are almost all are standard questions, so standard repetitive questions. For identical solid spheres of mass m and radius r are placed on four corners of square of side A, side B, find out moment of inertia about any side. So 4 spheres of moment of, this is question is based on moment of inertia concept students, and what you need to apply is parallel axis theorem. If you are clear with these 2 points and application of them, your answer is obvious and you will be able to find out. So spheres of radius A are placed on 4 corners of a square of side B. Okay, find out the moment of inertia about any one side. I am taking as this side, so I will take it. Any side you can take, moment of inertia of this side. So what you need to find out students, whenever there is an axis given to you and you were asked to find out what is the moment of inertia about the system of particle about that axis, what you need to do is you find out the moment of inertia of all the particles about this axis and add them all, you will get the answer. So I will add this. So for this sphere, what is this side, that will be the diameter. About the diameter, what is the moment of inertia of this sphere? That is 2 by 5 m r square. R is what here? Sphere radius, that is 2 by 5 m a square. Similarly this one will have 2 by 5 m a square. Okay, so you got 2 particles now. Now for these 2 particles, the moment of inertia about this axis we need to find out. I am considering this axis as x dash. About this axis we need to find out, but what we know, we don't know about that axis as far as our formulas are concerned. We know about this axis, that is 2 by 5 m a square, but using parallel axis theorem, what is the distance between these 2 points, that is B. So we can write according to parallel axis theorem, moment of inertia about any axis, required axis, is equal to moment of inertia about a parallel axis which is passing through center of mass and mass of the body into perpendicular distance between the 2 axes square. So what is the perpendicular distance between these 2 parallel axes? That is B. By applying parallel axis theorem, if you apply the answer, so 2 by 5 m a square plus, using parallel axis theorem, this will be m into b square. Similarly this sphere will have 2 by 5 m a square plus m b square. So add all of them, moment of inertia of 4 spheres, 1 2 3 and 4, add all of them. So 2 by 5 2 by 5 2 by 5 2 by 5, that means 4 2s are 8 by 5 m a square plus m b square 2 m b square. This is the question. It looks as simple as that. So let us go. Students, let us go to the next question. So now, okay, this is also a very easy question, I would say students. In a spherical mirror, so he has given it is a mirror and he is asking about which mirror he is. So either it may be concave or convex, but what is the fundamental point here? Question is, object is 100 centimeter, height of the image is 25 centimeters and their orientations are same. That means the image is erect. The image is orientation is same, means the image is erect and it is not inverted. So if it is not inverted, in mirrors, spherical mirrors, concave mirror, there will be only one place where, there will be one place for a concave mirror. If you observe, there will be only one place where you have here 125. This is means what? The image is diminished. And also orientation is same, that means erect. In concave mirror there will be only one place where you find an erected image, but it will also be enlarged. If you want to write it as a concave mirror, so what is it? So you will find all the cases of concave mirror real images. So can you say it is a concave mirror? All the possible cases you will have real images. You can go through the textbook or again apply them. In concave mirror all images are real except one case, that is when the object is placed between this focal length and pole. Between focal length and pole if you keep, then only you will have a virtual image. In all the other cases it is a real image, and everywhere it is enlarged. You will not have diminished image in concave mirror. So but here diminished image is there, high chance of convex mirror, but also erect image is there. In concave mirror all the other images are erect, inverted apart from this focal length to pole area. So that means from the given information, diminished image and erect image, so the both will convey us that the mirror is convex mirror, and erect image will happen as a virtual image in convex mirror. In convex mirror we find virtual images. So let us go to the next question. If you are not clear with this idea, you just try to study the fundamentals that I taught you. So next, this question is, students, based on LED. So what is the concept of LED? Light emitting diode in semiconductors topic. So that is nothing but it's a p-n junction diode. p-n junction diode which is connected in forward biased. Just I am trying to, this question is easy, students, but I am trying to give an overview of what is light emitting diode. So this is a light emitting diode connected in forward bias. This is p type, this is n type. So what will happen is, here the majority carriers are holes and here the majority carriers are electrons. So because of this, so there is a, because of the forward bias here, there will be a drift current towards of electrons in this, which are minor carriers in p type, and there will be drift of holes towards n type, which are minor carriers in n type. So there will be a band gap here. So there, when here there are holes, majorly holes, and now electrons are coming here. Here there are majorly electrons and holes are coming here. So now because of it there will be a recombination of hole and electron will takes place. That means it's like similar to in, if you have studied in Bohr's atom, an electron coming to the Bohr's atom. So what will happen? It will release energy and it will come. Similarly, when they both combine, they release energy, and how much energy they release? They release energy equivalent to this band gap. So what is the band gap energy? Has to do that this is a phenomenon that takes place, and they release energy in terms of photons, so in the form of light energy. So like that, light emitting diode will emit light. So based on the energy gap and all, you will have different colors coming out. So here band gap is 1.9 electron volts, and how can we equate them? Equate them to 1.9 electron volts, equate them to h mu, because energy comes in the form of photon. This can be written as hc by lambda. So that can be written as lambda is equal to hc by 1.9 electron volts. In electron volts if you want to find out, say in nanometers if you want to find out, this can be written as 1240 by 1.9 electron volts. Then you will get the exact value of this, and you will be able to find out what is the answer. So now that will be 654 nanometer, and it is to come to be orange. So then let us see the next question. So this is also a good question, students. If you would have studied the theory about optical instruments, you will be able to answer this question. So what is it? Resolving power of electron microscope is greater than that. You might have known this clearly. Resolving power of electron microscope is greater than optical microscope. I will give you a description, matlab what is actually the phenomena behind it. Students, if you would have studied the formula, so what is resolving power first? Simply I will give you within 2 minutes analysis of what actually occurs, what is behind the screens to this question. So first in a microscope, to find the image is clear or not, you might have studied about Rayleigh's criteria. If two images, they produce diffraction patterns, if the distance between diffraction patterns like this, you might have studied the maxima, central maxima, the distance between the central maxima of two object images, the diffraction patterns, is greater than the distance between the central maxima to first minima of the first image. That means this will be forming a diffraction pattern of this first image will be forming a diffraction pattern of this sort. So now other object's image we should be able to clearly distinguish, that should be at a distance higher than the first minima of the first object. So if the distance is clear, the distance is higher, so then we can say these two are clearly resolved. So now how much distance that you will be able to see, that means if 0.5 micrometer distance images you are able to distinguish clearly, then your capacity to resolve is higher. That means if it is less than 0.2 micrometers, it's like the 0.1 micrometers distance also your microscope is able to distinguish the images, then its resolving power is higher. So now the formula for this distance between these images through a microscope is 1.22 lambda, the D minimum distance between the two images formed, 1.22 lambda by 2 mu sin theta. So now this D minimum is directly proportional to the lambda. So if the minimum distance is higher, that means if you can resolve a very little difference objects, if you are able to clearly distinguish them, the more the minimum distance between them, the more the power of your microscope. That means resolving power is equal to 1 by this D minimum, this will be 2 mu sin theta by 1.22 lambda. Just I gave you a overview of what is the concept behind it. So now so if you see this formula, that resolving power is inversely proportional to the lambda, inversely proportional to the lambda. The higher the lambda, the resolving power will be less, the lower the lambda, the resolving power will be higher. So now whichever instrument maybe you are using, the concept is if the lambda is minimum, then resolving power is higher. So if you compare in electron microscope, electron current is used to identify the image, and here normal light is used in optical microscope. So that is why the actual lambda is equal to h by p1 lambda 1, lambda 2 is equal to h by p2. So whereas for electron the de Broglie's wavelength will be very small in comparison with de Broglie wavelength of light, that means the energy of it is more. So what we can do is electron, de Broglie wavelength of electron is very less than the visible light, and its energy is also higher. So now electron microscope has a greater resolving power than its lambda is less, as I have shown, lambda is less, that is why electron microscope has higher resolving power than optical microscope. So this is the concept behind it. Just I did not give you the answer as well, just I wanted to brief you about the concept of this microscope as well. Okay students, let us go forward. So the answer is electron microscope is almost 1000 times, almost, because according to the equipment, the way you make equipment also matters. about 1000 times more powerful than optical microscope. Then this is also very standard, one of the standard question, students, but when I see this question immediately I remember it's a Wheatstone bridge. If you would have known, it is okay, otherwise. So you can see I am trying to redraw this circuit. So if I try to, I name these points A, B, effective resistance I need to find out from this question, A, B, C, D, because if this is A, this can also be A, if this is B, this can also be, because it is a direct wire without any resistance. I am drawing 4 points. So now I am drawing here A, B, I am drawing here C, D. Let me show you. So A and B, okay, A and C there is a resistance, A and D there is another resistance, all are of equal resistance. C and B there is a resistance, C and B, and B and D there is another resistance. You see, you can check it. Now C and D there is another resistance. You carefully, students, and you need to find out resistance between A and B. If you can see this diagram, what pops up in your mind? It's nothing but Wheatstone bridge. R by R is equal to R by R, R by R is equal to R by R, that is R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by R4. Then we can remove this resistance. So current will flow directly from here to here and from here to here. So this R and R are in series, this R and R are in series. So series means this will become 2R, this will become 2R. So 2R in parallel, the effective resistance will be R, effective resistance will be R. This is another quality and very standard question. So let us go ahead, students. Okay. Now this is also another one of the very standard questions, students. If we have studied the very fundamental point that the gravitational force of attraction between 2 points is F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square is only for point masses, is only for point masses. If the structure or shape of the mass is different, you cannot apply that direct formula G m1 m2 by r square. You be careful, students. If some people might have done mistake using that formula, please ensure that you are thorough with gravitational field intensity concept, why it is defined. I am not going to define here, we will take the lecture specially. Gravitational field intensity, just it's a in short analysis of the paper. So gravitational field intensity, how we define. So if you know the gravitational field intensity I, and if you know the mass of the object at that point, multiply with this I into m, or otherwise if you consider it as E, or E into m is actually force on the object. Now sphere and ring are separated by root 8r distance, find force between them. So for a ring, in electrostatics also you might have studied, if a positive charge is uniformly distributed for a ring, so what is the electric field intensity on the axial point? That will be kqx by r square plus x square. R is the radius of the ring, x is the distance of the point from the center on the axis, r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. This is the value for electric field intensity. Similarly in gravitational also we get the formula for a shape of a ring at a distance of x from the center on the axis of a ring of shape r, g k there will be g here, q there will be m here of the ring by x square plus r square whole power 3 by 2. So this is the formula similar to the electric field intensity, gravitational field intensity. If you know this formula into intensity is known, multiply it with mass, you will be able to get the force. So I will apply this formula. So G m mass of the ring into x by x square plus r square whole power 3 by 2 into mass of the sphere. So if you multiply this both of them, you will get the answer. substitute x is equal to root 8r here, x is equal to root 8r, and you will be able to get the answer. X is equal to root 8r. If you square it, you will get it as 9r square. 9r square, square root get cancelled, 3r whole square and 3r whole cube, that will be 27r cube. So r cube and again r here get cancelled, GMM into root 8 by 27 is the answer. Just apply using that formula. Then in YD experiment, this is also very easy question, students, based on the fringe width. What is the fringe width? Beta is equal to lambda d by small d, whereas capital D is the separation between the slits and the screen, small d is the distance between the slits. If you apply these formulas, direct formula, you will be able to answer this question, students. The answer will be 0.25 millimeters. That is a very direct question, students, in YDSC. The fringe width formula and every information is given here. So now then the question is, this is also a very quality standard question. So whenever, I have already discussed it during Newton's laws of motion, one shot revision, whenever there is a particle which is executing circular motion, you need to find out what is the force responsible for it and try to equate it with mv square by r or mr omega square. Then you will be able to get what are the values are. Period of revolution, that is time period they are asking. If you know 2 pi by, if you know omega, apply 2 pi by omega, you will get the answer. This is one of the very standard questions, and similar questions have been repeated in many of the previous year examinations. So time period is equal to 2 pi by omega. If you know omega, you get the answer. Otherwise time period is equal to 2 pi r by v, you know velocity, you will get the answer. So now I will try to find out the velocity here by using this. Force is inversely proportional to r cube. That means, can I write it as that force is equal to k by r cube? Your business is completed just if you are able to write this. So force is equal to k by r cube, that force is nothing but mv square by r or mr omega square. So mv square by r is equal to k by r cube, r get cancelled here, r square. So v square is equal to k by m, substitute v square, v is equal to root k by m. So substitute v here, t is equal to 2 pi r by v is root k by m into 1 by r. So here root k by into 1 by r, 1 by r, that means t is equal to some constant into r square we can write, then that means t is proportional to r square is the answer. This is a very high quality question. Just equate the centripetal force with the force given in the question, the proportionality, then find out what is time period is 2 pi by omega. Either find out omega from this force equation, that is mr omega square, or otherwise mv square by r. If you are able to find out from mv square by r, substitute velocity in the time period is equal to 2 pi r, that circle distance by velocity, you will be able to get the time period. So here the answer will be t proportional to r square. Students, so these are very standard questions as far as this paper is concerned. The paper is very easy, but still this is t proportional to r square. If you want to listen to analysis of this sort and conceptual understanding, and imagine, students, here what you are going to get is 90 special classes for crash course covering all those concepts in a very short period of time with great quality by expert faculties, and also after class problems you have practice in our app, students. Then what else you can find is all India live test series. By using this all India live test series, what you can do is compare your practice and compare your result with all your other competitor students. And the other interesting part of it is everything is for free. Everything is for free. Just try to join now, students. Just try to join our course. It will be free of cost for you all. So now the next questions will be continued by Vijay sir. Vijay sir, welcome sir.
And hi students, and now we have been starting from the problem number 11. So in which he has given one line charge of length L and charge Q, and find the value of field intensity at a point of the perpendicular distance root 3 by 2 L. So here in this problem, the main thing he has given is it is one uniform line charge, so of length L. So this is the length of the line charge given having charge Q. Okay, then find out the field intensity at a point where it is at a perpendicular distance of root 3 by 2 L, and also this point is symmetrical. That means that point makes equal angle with the two ends of this line. So now let us take a point here P, where you have to find the field intensity because of this line charge, and as he said this is symmetrical, so this point makes equal angles with the two ends of the line, and this point lies on the perpendicular bisector. So this point exactly divides this line into half. So here the perpendicular bisector exactly divides this line charge of length L into exactly half to half parts. So this length would be L by 2 and this length would be L by 2, and he has given the perpendicular distance to be root 3 by 2 L. So this is angle theta. So it makes an equal angles with these both. So let us say it be theta 1 and theta 2. So you have to find the field intensities because of these both. So what happens now to find the field intensity? So the field intensity because of a line charge density E is equal to lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught r sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. So as here given the values of theta 1 is equal to theta 2, and where lambda is the line charge density, that is charge per length, by 4 pi epsilon naught r, where r is equal to root 3 by 2 L. R is the distance from the line charge to the point where you have to find the field intensity, that is root 3 by 2 L. So these are the data here and given in the problem. So you have to substitute these values into this equation. E is equal to lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught r sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. Then you will get the required value of field intensity where E is equal to, so take Q by L in place of lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught. R is root 3 L by 2 into sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. Here you should find the value of sin thetas, because as both angles are same, sin theta 1 is equal to sin theta 2. As this is L by 2 and this is root 3 by 2 L, this would be L by 2 whole square plus root 3 L by 2 whole square, which it gives to be L square by 4 plus 3L square by 4. So if you take L square by 4 as common here, L square by 4 as common, then it is 1 plus 3, that is nothing but 2. So this is 2L by 2, that is simply L. So that is simply L. So this length is L. So you have to find the value of sin theta, where sin theta is equal to opposite side by the hypotenuse. From this you can write sin theta 1 is equal to opposite side, which is L by 2, by the hypotenuse is L. So here it would be 1 by 2. So sin theta 1 is equal to sin theta 2. So sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. So it is obviously 1. From this you can write 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So it is 1 Q by L into 2 pi epsilon naught root 3L. So root 3 L into L, L square. So you can write like Q by root 3 2 pi epsilon naught L square, that is Q by 2 root 3 pi epsilon naught L square, that is option 1 here. Okay, next you have the problem number 12. So and this is the exact process what we have followed just now. So in the next problem, in the problem number 12, he has given a 2 kg object is placed on a frictionless surface in the xy plane. If the force acting is F is equal to 20I plus 10J. So here that is force is in the xy plane where F is equal to 20I plus, where F is equal to 20I plus 10J. 20I plus 10J, it is in the xy plane. But he is asking to find the displacement only in the x-axis direction for a time duration of 10 seconds. As you want the displacement, as you want to find the displacement only in the x-axis direction, you have to consider the force only in the direction of x-axis. So here you can write this force F as Fxi plus Fyj. So Fx is the component of force in the x-axis direction, Fy is the component of force in the y-axis direction. As you want the displacement in the x-axis direction, if you take the force in the direction of x-axis, which is 20, and you have the time, so what is the displacement traveled in these 10 seconds? So here the starting speed or the starting velocity, when you haven't applied the force, the velocity of the object is 0. After you have applied the force, the body moves for 10 seconds and you have to find this displacement. So here you have to consider the starting velocity u to be 0. So if you have the force, then obviously you can find the acceleration, because you have the values of force and mass, which is 2 kg. So force by mass 20 by 2, that is 10 meter per second square, is the acceleration with which it is traveling after the application of force. So from this you can write like that. So this is what we got, acceleration. So to find the displacement, S is equal to ut plus half at square, as here u is equal to 0. So here S is only equal to half at square, half into a here we got it as 10 into t square, t is also 10, so it is 10 square 100. If you cancel this, you will get 500 meters. So it traveled a distance of 500 meters in 10 seconds after the application of force. F is equal to 20I plus 10J in the x-axis direction. Next, in the problem number 13, he has given an object of mass, that is capital M, and also an object of mass small m. So he has given two masses, one is of mass and capital M, second one is of mass small m. But here the capital M, that is M1, is very large mass when compared to the smaller mass small m, are moving with the velocity u, that is u1 is equal to u. This large mass is moving with a velocity u and collides with an object of mass small m, which is at rest. That is, the smaller mass is not moving, it is at rest. Consider the following statements in this. So in all these statements he is asking about the velocity and also the kinetic energy and the linear momentum and conservation. So first let us consider about the velocity. If you want to find the velocity when two bodies collide, you can use with the formulas like v1 and v2. But in the statement, after collision, maximum velocity of the mass small m will be 2u. That is, he is asking the velocity of the second mass, the smaller mass only. So you have to find v2 itself, where v2 you have already 2m1 u1 by m1 plus m2 plus m2 minus m1 into u2 by m1 plus m2. Whenever he said this mass capital M is very larger than the value of mass small m, you can neglect the value of mass small m. Then obviously you will get this value v2 to be, because as he has given u1 is equal to u and u2 is equal to 0, here you have to find v2. So and substitute the values of m1, that is equal to capital M, and m2, that is equal to small m, and these values of the velocity into this equation, where you will get the velocity of the second body after the collision is 2 times of the velocity of the larger body before the collision. That is, v2 is equal to 2 times of u, where u is the velocity of the larger body before and colliding with the smaller body of mass small m. And the second statement is okay, here the statement 1 is true. The second statement, he said, in the elastic collision both the kinetic energy and linear momentum are conserved. Of course, in case of the elastic collision both the kinetic energy and linear momentum are conserved. these two are true, but this second statement is not at all unrelated to the statement 1, because when you consider the law of conservation of kinetic energy and linear momentum, you have to consider the entire mass. You can't neglect the mass. When you have neglected the mass, so obviously you are neglecting some value of kinetic energy and linear momentum. So these two are true, but the statement true is not the exact reason for the statement 1. So it is. Next, problem number 14. If lambda 1 represents the wavelength of third line of the Lyman series, so as you know, the Lyman series is the first series in the Bohr's spectrum, where the Lyman series includes the spectral lines when the electrons jump from the higher energy levels to the first orbit. When the electrons jump from the higher energy levels to first orbit. So third line of the Lyman series. So here the first line of the Lyman series occurs when the electron jumps from second orbit to first orbit, and the second line of the Lyman series occurs when it jumps from third orbit, and the third line occurs when it jumps from fourth orbit to the first orbit. So here, as he said, the third line of Lyman series, you have to take n1 is equal to 1, obviously, because it has to jump to the first orbit, and n2 is equal to 4, because the electron jumps from fourth orbit to the first orbit for the third line in the Lyman series. And lambda 2 represents the wavelength of first line of the Paschen series. So Paschen series is the third series in the Bohr spectrum. So the third series means obviously the electron has to come down to the third orbit, but it is the first line. So it comes from the fourth orbit to third orbit. Okay. Find the ratios of these two wavelengths and let it be lambda 1 and lambda 2. So he is asking the ratios of these wavelengths. So to find this, here you can do it so simply. So as you have the relation in between the wavelength and also the number of the orbits, 1 by r is equal to r, where r is the Rydberg's constant, into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So first let us take for the wavelength 1, that is the third line of the Lyman series. So let it be lambda 1. So here I am writing where lambda 1 is the wavelength in the third line of the Lyman series is equal to r, the Rydberg's constant, into where here the electron has to jump to the first orbit. So here n1 is equal to 1. So here 1 by lambda 1 is equal to r into, so as n1 is equal to 1, 1 by 1 square minus, it has to jump from the fourth orbit. So that is 1 by 4 square, that is 1 by 16. Okay. So this is for lambda 1. Now let us take for the first line in the Paschen series, that is the lambda 2. Obviously it is equal to again r, the Rydberg's constant, into 1 by n1. Here the n1 is equal to 3, that is 3 square, that is 9, minus it has to jump from the fourth orbit because it is the first line in the Paschen series. So it is 16. He is asking the ratio of lambda 1 by lambda 2. So to get the lambda 1 by lambda 2, what you have to do? You have to make like 1 by lambda 2 by 1 by lambda 1. So into lambda 1 by 1. First take the value of 1 by lambda 2 into this equation. So r into 1 by 9 minus 1 by 16, that is 16 minus 9 by 16 into 9 by the 1 by lambda 1, that is r into 1 minus 1 by 16. So 16 minus 1 by 16. Solve this, then you will get the ratios of lambda 1 and lambda 2. So here the Rydberg's constant are both constants, so those are same. You can actually cancel them each other. What it is remaining? 16 minus 9, 7 by 16 into 9. 16 9s are 144 by 16 minus 1, 15. 15 by 16. So you can write 16 by 15. So by cancelling 16 9s 144. So 7 by 9 into 15, that is 7 by 135. So this is the ratio of the wavelengths for the line in the third line of the Lyman series and also the first line of the Paschen series, that is 7 by 135. So here it is option 1.
Yashwin Singh, I have seen your question. In shifts में कुछ questions overlap भी होता है क्या? हाँ. Whatever I have observed is actually the some questions which have overlapped means some questions have been repeated, and sometimes similar formality questions have been repeated, sometimes similar concepts questions have been repeated. So there's a chance definitely to get those questions repeated. And next, Viraj Jagtap, your question is 654 nanometers, but please tell me whether it will be red or orange. Viraj, you have to carefully see your options. If it is given as 654, absolutely from 650 orange, red will start. Before just 640, orange color will be there. So if your question and options are obvious, if your question and answer are obvious, whereas 654 with either red only is given or 654 with only orange is given, that is the correct option. But if both are given, you go with red. Viraj. So next, you can share to your friends also whatever the doubts you are having, and you can join our lectures where we teach 90 free classes on entire subjects, and also you can download our app and you get after class problems whereas you can solve, and also you can apply to. We have on Monday we have a class at 9:30 on shift to paper solutions as well, and also evening you're going to have one short revision on all the topics. So you can also join every time that we go live, and also you can ask your friends to join for other subjects as well. Maths and chemistry will also come. So Viraj, you have any doubts, you can comment here. We'll reply to you at right proper amount of time. Okay, sir. So Viraj sir, Vijay sir will continue. Thank you for your support.
Okay, and next here we found the ratios of the two wavelengths in this series. Next you can get where it is 7 by 135. Next you can here look at the problem number 15, where he had said two rods of the thermal resistance R1 and R2 are connected as shown, that is like this. So the temperature theta1 and theta2 are given to the two rods. So he is asking find the common temperature of the rod, what it is, and connected in between these two rods are at the temperatures theta1 and theta2. So here the medium in between those rods are having the resistance of R1 and R2 and respectively as shown in the figure. So find the common temperature of this rod he is asking. So obviously here you have the equation or the relation where you can write the temperature theta2 of the rod of this the upper rod minus theta by R2 is equal to theta minus theta1 by R1. So make this into the cross multiplication. Here you have to find the temperature theta of the connecting rod. So obviously you have to find the theta here. So now make the cross multiplication of these two equations where you would get theta 2 R1 minus theta R1 is equal to theta R2 minus theta 1 R2. So bring all the terms with theta onto the same side, then obviously it becomes theta into R1 plus R2 is equal to theta 1 R2 plus theta 2 R1. From this you can write the value of the common temperature theta to be theta 1 R2 plus theta 2 R1 by R1 plus R2. Here that is option 2. Okay, so here it is option 4. Sorry, it is not option 2, it is option 4, where it is theta 1 R2 plus theta 2 R1 by R1 plus R2. That is what we got. So in the problem number 16, see here, he has given two diodes. As shown in the figure. In forward bias, the resistance of the diode is 50 ohms, and in the reverse bias it is infinite. When the resistance is actually infinite, no value of current passes through it. Find the current through 120 ohms, the resistance. He is asking this. So when he has given the diodes in the circuit, first thing you have to do is you have to check whether the diodes are connected in the forward bias or in the reverse bias condition. So these are the normal PN junction diodes. So here this is the supply, which is the positive terminal and negative terminal. Here this diode is connected in forward bias condition and this diode is connected in the reverse bias condition. So in the reverse bias condition, he has given the resistance is infinite, that is no current passes through this branch. Okay, so you have to consider only, that is here, see I am actually redrawing the circuit where 130 ohms resistor is connected in series with the diode. Here the diode is also having a resistance of 50 ohms because it is connected in the forward bias condition. In forward bias the resistance is 50 ohms across the diode. Now it is connected to source voltage 6 volts. Next it is 120 volts. Okay. Then you have to find the current passing through this 120 ohms resistor. So first thing, from the Ohm's law, what you can do is I is equal to V by R. So the voltage here is 6 volts. Then what is the total resistance of these 3 resistors? Because the diode has the resistance of 50 ohms, which is connected in series with the resistance of 130. So 50 plus 130, 180, which are in turn joined with the resistance of 120 ohms. So 180 plus 120, that is 300. So V is 6, R is 300 ohms, that is 1 by 50 amps. But here the current is given in terms of milliamps. Every option is in terms of millis. So you have to convert this 1 by 50 in terms of millis. That is, you can write like 1 by 5 into 10. So 5 into 10, if it goes upwards, it becomes 10 to the power of minus 5. 10 to the power of minus 1. 1 by 5 is 0.2 into 10 to the power of minus 1. So you have to convert in terms of milli, that is 10 to the power of minus 3. So to make that happen, so shift 2 points, that is it becomes 20. 20 into 10 to the power of minus 1 into minus 2, because you have shifted 2 points here. So you have to write like 10 to the power of minus 2. So 10 to the power of minus 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2, it is 10 to the power of minus 3, that is 20 milliamps. Here it is option 1. Next, in the problem number 17, he has given large number of small drops of radius small r. So there are large number of drops, that is there are many drops having radius small r. Okay, are combined and form a bigger drop of radius capital R. So these smaller drops having radius small r, many drops having radius small r are combined to form a bigger drop of radius capital R. So that is what is given in the problem. Then if the mechanical equivalent of heat is joules, then the heat released per volume if the surface tension is. See here what is the relation in between the surface tension and the, here he said the heat energy. So simply consider it as the energy. So that is energy, which is nothing but the work done. Here you can write the tension is equal to work done by change in the area. From this you can write work done is equal to tension into change in the area. Okay, but he is asking the heat released per volume. So the heat released, the work done per volume, that is T into change in the area by volume. Okay, this is the thing what you have to do here. So first you have to find the change in the areas of this. First you have to find the surface area of all of these smaller drops, then of this larger drop. So what is the volume of a sphere? Because these are all drops. Drops means which will be in the shape of sphere. The volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube and the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. So that is the point, that is the key point what you have to remember here. So what is the relation in between the radius? That is what you have to first find. If you consider the volume of the smaller drops where it is 4 by 3 pi r cube, here the number of the smaller drops are many, these are present in large numbers. Let that large number be n is equal to these all drops of n in number combined to form a larger drop of radius capital R. So 4 by 3 pi, 4 by 3 pi, n r cube is equal to r cube. So what it is, R is equal to n power 1 by 3 r. So this is the exact relation in between the radius of these smaller drops and the larger drop. So now you have to use that relation where you get r is equal to n power 1 by 3 r. So you can write like n power 1 by 3 is equal to r by r. So n is equal to r by r whole cube. You can actually use these relations while solving the problems. So here, as you have to find the tension into change in the area. So change in the area here, n into the surface area of each smaller drop. Here its radius is smaller. So n into 4 pi r square minus 4 pi into capital R square by total volume, that is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So this is the thing you have to solve here. Obviously here in both these equations you can take 4 pi as common. So if you take 4 pi as common, then it becomes, or else take t also as here, then it becomes n r square minus capital R square by 4 pi r cube. So 4 pi will get cancelled. So the 3 goes upwards, 3t into n r square minus r square by r cube. So this is the relation for the work done or the heat energy produced for the given volume. This is V. Okay, 3t into n r square minus the capital R square by r cube. If you substitute the value of n into this equation, where n is equal to r by r whole cube, then you will get the relation like 3t into 1 by small r minus 1 by capital R, that is option 1. Okay. So this is the process what we have done to find the relation between the radius of the smaller and the larger drops. So the tension into change in the area, and we have done all this at the same process, that T into change in the area by volume, we have done that too. By making all that happen, then you will get the value of the heat energy released per volume is equal to 3T into 1 by small r minus 1 by capital R. Next, in the problem number 18, the current flowing in the given circuit is I is equal to I1 sin omega t plus I2 cos omega t. Find the RMS value. So he has given the value of current and he is asking the value of IRMS. You have the simple relation in between the value of I and IRMS, that is IRMS is equal to peak current by root 2. Okay, peak current by root 2, because we know that IRMS is equal to 0.707 times of the peak value, that is the maximum amplitude of the current I naught. So here you can use that relation to find the value of IRMS, that is the RMS value of current. RMS value of current is also called as the effective current. Okay, effective current or the RMS current mean the same. So IRMS is equal to the peak value of current or the maximum amplitude of the current by root 2. So simply what you have to do is you have to find this peak value of current. So from this, to find the peak value of current, where he has given the value of I is equal to I1 sin omega t plus I2 cos omega t, here the peak value of the current becomes root over I1 square plus I2 square by root 2, that is I1 square plus I2 square whole power 1 by 2 by root 2. So here it is option 1. Next, in the problem number 19, he has given that a planet is revolving round the sun in an elliptical orbit. Choose the correct option. So to actually say these options are right or wrong, you have to use the Kepler's laws. So here the Kepler's laws are very useful to actually understand this concept. Okay. So once you here in the Kepler's laws, you have only 3 rules. So you should remember those 3 rules once now to get this. So he is asking which statement is true. The first statement is he has given the aerial velocity is constant. Obviously from the Kepler's laws, the aerial velocity is constant because the curve sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. because here the velocity curve of the planet sweeps or actually and covers equal areas in equal intervals of time, that is the areal velocity is constant. So the statement 1 is true. Now consider the second one. Areal velocity is proportional to velocity. Is it true? No, because if you see sun is present at one of the foci. If the planet is very close to the sun, obviously its velocity is very high. When the planet is far from the sun, its velocity is very less. So the velocity keeps changing, but the areal velocity will be same. The statement 2 is incorrect. Planet will move with constant speed. That's what we have said just now. It is also false. Next, the fourth one is the areal velocity is inversely proportional to the velocity. So this is also not. So here the statement 1 is correct. Next, in the problem number 20, he is saying that if the limiting value of force for the block to just slide is 3 times of x, find the value of x. So when the body is just ready to slide is when the value of applied force is equal to the limiting frictional force. So first you have to find the limiting frictional force here. Obviously this force is being applied at some angle, that is 60 degrees to the horizontal. That is, there are two components of force, one is in the horizontal direction, one is in the vertically downward direction. So here the force acting in the horizontal direction is F cos 60 degrees and the force acting in the vertically downward direction is F sin 60. But here the body moves only in the direction of the horizontal. So you have to consider the force in the horizontal direction only. So here obviously the force in the horizontal direction, let it be Fx is equal to F cos 60 degrees. Okay, so this is the force, and you have to, this applied force is equal to the limiting frictional force. To find the limiting frictional force, first you have to find the normal reaction. Obviously here he has given the coefficient of friction mu. So the thing is you have to find the normal reaction n. So first, if you see this block, what are the forces acting on that block? If you take the free body diagram, the first force acting downwards is weight mg. The next, here the vertical component of force is also acting in the downward direction, in the same direction. So that is F sin 60 degrees. So the normal reaction would act upwards. So the body is not moving in the vertical direction. So the body is balanced in terms of the vertical direction. So you can write n is equal to mg plus F sin 60 degrees. Okay. So this is the value of the normal reaction. He has given the mass, which is root 3 kg. So root 3 into g, let it be 10 plus F. Does he given the value of force? No. So take it as F sin 60. Sin 60 is root 3 by 2. So root 3 F by 2. So take root 3 as common in this. 10 plus F by 2. This is the normal force. This must be equal to the limiting force. So here, as you have to find the limiting frictional force, where it is mu into n. So mu is 1 by 3 root 3 into n. What we got is root 3 into 10 plus F by 2. So this has to be equal to F cos 60. So F cos 60, we don't know the value of F. So cos 60 is 1 by 2. So F by 2 is equal to 1 by 3 into 10 plus F by 2. So here, this is the diagram, what you have the forces, what we have discussed just now. So the value of the horizontal force F cos 60 is equal to mu into the normal reaction. So that is what we done. F by 2 is equal to mu into here root 3 g plus root 3 F by 2. So here you can take root 3 as common and you can substitute mu into this equation, then you will get F by 2 is equal to root 3 g by 3 root 3. Here root 3 and root 3 will get cancelled. Root 3 and root 3 will get cancelled. So it is G by 3 plus F by 6. So where G by 3 is equal to 10 by 3, F by 2. So bring this F by 6 onto this side, take F as common, then it will be F into 1 by 2 minus 1 by 6 is equal to G by 3. So 6 minus 2, 4, 4 by 12, that is F by 3 is equal to G by 3. 3 and get cancelled, that is F is equal to G, where you have taken G is 10, so F is equal to 10 newtons. So this is problem number 20, where F is equal to 10 newtons. And 3x is equal to 10, because he has given F is equal to 3x, so x is equal to 10 by 3, that is 3.33. So, and this is the problem up to the problem number 20. I hope you understand these problems and their reason for the explanation. So here, and you can get all these classes in the YouTube in the Skyget app, and these all classes are for free. So here, and you can actually learn these classes, you can actually learn these concepts without use of any money. So these are all for free. So I hope you enjoy the class. So the next class would be continued by the Shivshankar sir.
Hello students, welcome back again. I am Shivshankar Shukla, and from here onwards we are going to solve the questions from question number 20, and we will see what kind of the question we got for this session. So I hope you understand whatever my colleague has cleared your doubt, and I guess we had a few students coming online and they are asking, sir, in shift में कुछ question overlap भी होते हैं क्या? So let me tell you, boss. What's your name? Your name is okay, Yashwant Singh. So Yashwant Singh, what happens? These questions are basically memory based, but definitely if you see, the chances for overlapping is very high. What does it mean? That the kind of question and the kind of concept that we are covering, in almost every shift you are going to get the question similar to this. Understand? So probability is very, very high. Okay, so let's see, because we will cover so many doubt, and it is kind of the revision for you as well if you are very new. Okay, so it will be quick revision for you. You can watch these videos on twice of speed or 1.5 speed, so that you can practice the questions and you can see what kind of concepts we are covering. And our focus is not to solve the questions, but to give you the trick and how to think about the question. What is the way of doing a question? So let's start. Okay, so in this question, let's see what they are given in the LCR circuit at resonance. Okay, at resonance means, what is the meaning of resonance? Resonance means when the amplitude of the current is maximum, and when it is possible, when your your Z become minimum. And when Z become minimum, when your XL is equal to XC. What does it mean? XL, resistance offered by the inductor, is equal to resistance offered by the capacitor. When these two become equal, that time your inductance, or you can say the that becomes to total Z becomes equal to R, and in that case you are going to get resonance circuit. So in that case, all you need to remember what are the different formulas. So what are formulas? First, current equal to V by Z, right? Power will be I square R. That time voltage across both of them will be same. Okay, so these are different, and at that time what will be the resonance frequency? So XL, it means omega L equal to omega 1 over omega C, omega square equal to 1 over root of LC, right? And that is angular frequency. If anyone asks you about frequency, just divide by 2 pi. So this is all the things which you need to remember in resonance. And now coming to the quality factor. So you need to know what is the quality factor. Quality factor means, for example, whatever the difference, okay, whatever the difference you want to say that, okay. So for example, at, let's suppose 1 current, let's suppose 1 ampere, your at 1 ampere your power, or basically intensity which you're getting, is maximum. So what is the quality factor? It's basically that you wanted to find out at what current and what amplitude your quality will be half of the initial one. So that is called the quality factor. in which you can use. So there are the direct formula which you can use. I'm not going to tell what is the quality factor formula, omega L over, tell me in your comment box. Understand? So what is the quality factor? Quality factor means how your graph, if you remember, like the graph, it was very sharp. So quality factor tells about how sharp is your wave is and how sharp your basically that difference between two waves are getting, how sharp is your bandwidth is. So that is called the quality factor for any kind of the wave. Okay, so now let's see the solution. They have already given all these values. So self inductance is L. Now they're saying that L is doubled and your resistance is decreased twofold. Okay, so basically resistance is decreased. All right, so the resistance decrease, simple formula, quality factor I told you, XL over R. XL is omega into L. Simple problem. I don't consider this problem to be very difficult kind of thing. Simple substitution, move on. Simple. So you can see the solution and check whether you are getting the same result. If these are the value which is same for your shift, then you are going to get this result. So just try to understand whether you are getting this result or not. Okay, so let's move on for next thing. Okay, I'm not solving why, because this is simple compare base. Okay, so you have to compare and you have to move on, simple thing. Second question, the maximum and minimum amplitude of the modulated wave is this value. Okay, so maximum is given, minimum is given. Okay, the modulation index. What is the modulation index? So many times I'm telling you that this question has came. It can be modulation index for your FM, it can be for phase diagram, or it can be for AM, right? These modulation index we had, right? And question is coming again from this chapter, that from the communication, the question can be your line of sight, or the question can be your modulation, or it can be the question on modulation index. So make sure you are able to solve these things. Okay, so modulation index for amplitude. Okay, in this case amplitude is modulating. So maximum simple formula you use, and you already know that. And if you don't have you have not seen these things, you can follow my videos which is going to come in YouTube soon. Okay, these are simple formula based questions. So modulation index is basically your whatever the difference may be divided by, you just add the amplitude. That is the modulation index. So your answer has to be, if you multiply all these things, it has to be equal to 33 times 10 to power minus 2, and if you're getting x, that has to be 33. Okay, again simple question, very easy question on intensity. Question on, if you remember the formula for intensity, that is, what was the formula? Half epsilon naught C into E square, right? That is in electric field. In other formula, intensity is what? If you remember in thermal radiation, what is the intensity? Intensity means how much power you are delivering for unit area. That is called the intensity. Understand? So and then they have mentioned about efficiency. So what is efficiency? That how much power output you are getting into how much power you are providing. That is called the, right? So how much efficiency is the system is. So question is simple. Let's see, 1000 watt bulb has optical frequency. They have given the frequency efficiency. What is the meaning of efficiency? Efficiency means how much output you are getting to the input you are providing. That is called the efficiency. Find the amplitude of electric field at a distance 2 meters from the bulb. I don't find these to be very difficult. If you remember the formula, you are going to do the question super easy, right? So your intensity in normal formula in electric field, same way you can multiply in magnetic field. If you just divide, if you place the value over here, what is the value? That B E naught over B is equal to C. If you replace, you will get into your magnetic formula again. So intensity they have multiplied. Okay, simple question. You just need to remember this formula. Make sure if you are new, if you have not seen this formula, please type somewhere so that you can use for second shift. Okay, so you will able to solve the question easily. Now next question, the simple question you just see, watch here. Okay, there are two capacitors C1, C2. Okay, when they are connected parallel, their equivalent is this much. When they are connected in series, this much, right? When they are connected in series, find the C1 and C2. Okay, so basically they are asking times the equivalent. Okay, so basically what they're happening, they're saying that C1 and C2 you have the capacitor, and when you connect them, you will get equivalent resistance, equivalent capacitance. If you connect them in series is for formula 1 over C1 plus 1 over C2, you will get equivalent formula. In first case is equal to the multiply of this. Make the quadratic equation, substitute in this term, get your answer, man. Super easy. I don't consider this to be that one. But the good thing is that we don't have the value for anything. They're not telling us that C1 plus C2 is this much or C1 plus C2 is that much. right? Because we will able to make only one equation from here, because we don't have relation that C1 is how many times of C2 and C2 is how many times of C1, right? So if you see the details, we have the detail which is insufficient, right? And when the detail is insufficient, so if you're not able to find the options, it means that this is going to be your booster question. It means either they have to remove this question or they have to give you free 4 marks for you, and which can change your thousands, it can change your rank from 1 to 1000 as well, or there probability that you may land up somewhere in very good college, right? So always try to attempt these type of question, because they will give you bonus point. Okay, these are not the bonus for those who are not attempting that. Make sure you attempt that. Whenever the question seems like, okay, it's not something, details is insufficient, attempt it. Okay, so let's see the question what they're saying. To have C1, C2, they have given, they are connected in parallel. What is the equivalent in parallel? C1 plus C2. What in series? 1 over C1 plus C2. So when you find the equivalent, that will be C1 C2 over C1 plus C2. Simple resistance formula. I know you know that. Okay, so C1 plus C2 equal to 15 over 4. Then this value. Now if you see, we have only one equation, right? Now from this whole statement, I am not going to make second equation. Now over here we have C1 and C2 which is unknown, and you know that to solve the equation for 2 variable, at least I need 2 equations. But since we don't have equation, I'm not going to find any result for that. Understand? So you can go for these equations. If you solve, if you simplify, simple thing, quadratic equation will be there. But the problem is that we don't have the solution for this quadratic equation. Okay, now very good question. A non-conducting container is divided. Okay, there is 2 non-conducting containers. 1 container, 2 container. Okay, in 1 container you may have different things. Let's see what is the property. They have given that 4.5 liter, and the second is 5.5 liter is given. In first you have 2 atmospheric pressure. In second you have how many pressure? 3 atmospheric pressure. Number of mole is 3, number of mole is in the second is 2. If partition valve is open, then find the common pressure. Now what happened, for example, it is the same kind of thing. Let's suppose this is one block, this is second block. Now what happened, whatever the particles are there, they must have some force, they have some pressure, they must have some volume. They have, the second has pressure, volume and everything. As soon as you connect the water between them, or you connect the something source from where they can move, so what they will do, they will try to maintain the common pressure, right? So that neither it can disturb nor it can disturb, right? That is the question. It means you can say you can conserve the energy. For example, this is 2 joule, this is 2 joule. So final also the system has to have 4 joule only. You cannot have 6 joule, you cannot have 3.5 joule. If we assuming that there is no loss of energy. And what is the energy formula? Internal energy formula, either you can use in thermodynamics, which is NCV delta T. And what is the CV? CV depends upon the degree of freedom, or I can use the internal kinetic energy. What is the formula for internal kinetic energy? That is F by 2 nRT, right? F by 2 nRT. Since we don't have the temperature, so I can use nRT equal to P into V, because we know ideal gas PV equal to nRT, right? Simple thing. These are memory based questions. So if you place that, conserve the energy, get your answer. Okay, so again I'm not going to solve this thing. I just told you the method, what you have to follow. What is the meaning of F? That is degree of freedom. If it is monatomic, degree of freedom 3. Diatomic, how many degree of freedom? Tell me. Diatomic it can move in X, Y, Z. It can rotate about X and Z, not about X, right? We neglect that. So it has degree of freedom of 5. So all these things, if you place, since they have not telling you whether it is degree of, whatever the degree of freedom may be, you can eliminate and you can get your answer. So see the solution quickly and just move on to next question. They have places that nRT equal to, that's PV, right? F by 2 nRT, I told you. nRT equal to P into V, that's P into V. Liters, you don't need to change in centimeters, because automatically 10 centimeter here, 10 centimeter volume will be added. Simple thing. Question number 6, a man holding a spring. Okay, spring balance is there. All right. Now stationary lift, its reading will be 60 kg. Now it start descend with constant acceleration of this. This is what is the value of new spring balance. Simple thing, this is based on pseudo force. Now what does it mean? Let's suppose you are standing, you are holding this spring. For example, I am holding this spring, right? So it means whatever the weight of that will be, the same tension will be applied by my fingers, right? If the weight is, let's suppose 20 Newton, the same tension has to be there. But in second case, let's suppose if I assume that it's going down, right? So when I'm going down, since I'm in accelerating frame, so I have to use the concept of pseudo force, and pseudo force always come into picture when one frame is accelerating and other one is whatever the activity it is doing, then we have pseudo force concept. Understand? So that is what you can review the equation, you can get your answers. Okay, 20 coulomb charge through 15 volt battery, find the work done. I don't find these question to be difficult. If you have proper knowledge of basic things, I'm sure you're going to get this 4 mark for free, I guess, right? What is the formula for work done, potential and charge? I'm not going to tell again. That you have to solve, we have to comment, and then we will able to understand what's your standing, right? And if you're able to solve, it's very good. Simple question, potential equal to work done over charge. You apply the work done equal to charge into potential, you will get your work done in joules. Simple thing. Okay, displacement equation of the string wave is given. This is mass per unit length is given. Find the tension. What is the equation for the tension, boss? Tension equation is, let me, shall I write? No, I'm not going to write. Why? Because we are revising this thing, and when we're revising, we don't need to write, right? Because we are writing, it means we are wasting the time. Okay, so writing, we will not do the writing, we will do in memory based, because we have to be very quick, right? What is tension equation? What is velocity equation in the wave? If you remember, velocity is equal to root of t upon mu. What is mu? Mass over length. How much is the mass? Let's suppose 10 kg, length is 10 meter. It means mass per unit length will be, that will be 1, right? Tension you have to follow. If you remember these things, that this is the wave equation. What is the wave equation formula? That is x minus velocity into time, right? That is the equation for your wave equation. So that is this wave appear like, is this equation appear like wave equation? Yes, it is appear like. Why? Because x minus t, right? So from this is the kx minus omega t. From there you will get the velocity, and velocity if you place, you will get the tension in the thing. I feel that you're not going to use your even the pen in solving these kind of question. Use your mind, you will get your answer. And if you're finding any kind of difficulty, log on to us and reach to us on our Skyget app, and we will solve your every queries. Understand? Why? Because in that app we teaches you in that way that you don't have to touch your pen to get your answers. Understand? These kind of question I'm not going to touch even a single pen. Why? Because the kind of practice that we do in this app is super high. And when we do the practice, you don't need to worry about touching the things. You have to do the calculation in your mind, you have to think in your mind and get your answers. So after, if you like to enjoy the things, come log on to us, download the Skyget app, join and try to do the as much as practice sessions you wanted to do, so that you can improve your rank. Still you have the JEE Mains coming up in next year, or maybe in the next SIP, you're going to score the very well. Understand? So I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Thank you very much for logging with us. Thank you. And we stay tuned with us, and we expect you in upcoming session with us. Thank you very much.